The annual celebration of International Day of Peace will take place locally on Sunday. To tell us what's planned are the two co-organizers, Reverend Rodney Dailey and Ian Harrington. Thank you both very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to start with Reverend Dailey here. You know, this was originally an international celebration. The UN was behind it. And how did this become a local phenomenon?
Well, a number of states and cities and towns began to celebrate on that same day as well, to have a connectional piece going on the 21st. We chose to do it on the 18th this year, but it is on the 21st. And so with that going on, the hope was that, like in a domino effect, there'd be a tremendous amount of people who believe in peace gathering through concerts, track and field, whichever way they chose to celebrate it, and then there would be this great day going on that would hopefully leak over into the rest of the year, where people would carry that peaceful attitude with them.
Ian, what got you involved in this?
Well, I'm a Quaker, a religious society of friends, and so all my life I've believed that peace is the way to resolve things. Instead of military might, do it through diplomacy. And so I've always been involved in peace campaigns, and this United Nations International Day of Peace came to my attention and thought it was a good time to set up an event to gather people locally to celebrate peace and to have people who are working in peace work together for something in common.
Rodney, it's a bit like what you have been doing in your life too.
Yes.
Getting different people to resolve conflicts in a different way.
Right. My life is, I'm a drum major for peace. One of my role models, of course, is Martin Luther King and others who have been, so for the rest of my life, I will be trying to bring peace. And I know that there are peaceful people, but it's hard sometimes to be peaceful if the people around you are not, and that they're provoking you to do violence, or they're provoking you by doing things to you. It's almost like we always make this analogy of there's two people on the corner over there fighting. Now, which one started it? Or is one trying to protect himself from another one trying to hit them, or whatever? With that said, we have to continue. We have this slogan that I can bring the peace, that if each person brings peace and has a peaceful mindset, then if we can carry the message of peace through apparel, through a conversation, through events, then we'll have young people and older people who believe in peace carrying that message, and hopefully it will become stronger and stronger. Unfortunately, there's a lot of murders going on throughout the country, in our city and cities all around. It's almost like people have lost the value of life. And we have to be that beacon of light that shines. So on September 18th, out in the Cambridge Commons this time. We normally are in the Boston Commons, but the Boston Commons has another event on the same day, so that we didn't want to be associated with. So we're going to the Cambridge Commons, and we're going to have choirs singing and dance going on. It's going to be a lovely time, and it represents what the community should be about. It represents, there'll be a number of tables with resources on them on how you can get involved, to volunteer, to support peaceful initiatives, whether it be mentoring or whatever it might be. But it's so important. It's so important. Imagine if the people who are trying to bring peace stopped. We would just, the place would be, it'd be a terrible, terrible, terrible place to live.
We're talking with Reverend Rodney Dailey and Ian Harrington about the International Day of Peace celebration. Ian, what's it feel like going to an event like this? Because you see all different kinds of people gathered together.
Well, that's what's special for me for this event, is that it's bringing together people who peace means no war throughout the world, together with the people who when you say peace, they think of safety on the streets, and these two groups of people both working for peace often don't work together, and so our big effort is to bring them together at this event and to share what they are doing, and they are really should be working together because they have a common goal. And that's what's really important for me for this event, is that we're bringing those two groups together. And I also enjoy the dance, the poetry, the music, and hearing about what people are doing.
Reverend, why is it important for these different groups to work together? I mean, I've seen other examples of this around the city at other events sometimes.
It's so valuable because we're building a net, if you will, and being a model for young people to see and emulate and be a part of, so that they don't just have the examples of a gang member or a young person who's carrying a gun or a conflict that's going on, or prostitution or pimping or hustling or whatever. They need to see positive examples, and so these events brings out those positive examples so they can see them up close versus just on television. So that's why a number of our sponsors, from last year to this year, has been, trauma recovery and Veterans for Peace and St. Paul AME Church and the Quakers. One of the things about a little history about the Quakers and the St. Paul and AME churches is that they've had history. We've had history long, many years. The founder of the AME Church had founded a program called a Free African Society, where when a lot of different Africans were able to get free, that it helped them not be recaptured, and it taught them to read and do some other things, sort of like part of the Underground Railroad. And the Quakers were out there doing that too. And so they together they were doing this. I didn't even know that until I had to do some research and say, hey, we've been together. We just we just have to realize that there's roots here that have grown together and intertwined. And so with that same methodology, we wanted to intertwine all of the different organizations that are trying. Mothers for Justice and Equality, that are, and Lipstick and Lip Gloss, and all these organizations that are working with parents and who have lost their children, and then after the funeral, and things settle in, there's support for them, an opportunity for them to get that support. And we're hoping that some of the other programs, like the Lewis Brown Peace Curriculum, will have a table there, and the opportunity, as I've always done, when we used to have concerts on the corner at Quincy and Blue for many years. We've done over 100. But that it's important to bring out the organization so that people can connect. They can know that here's an organization that could help me do what I'm doing, or be more peaceful, or get some education, or join something larger than myself, and continue on.
So it's going to be 2 to 4 p.m. Sunday the 18th at Cambridge Common. And Ian, if people want more information, there's a website that they can check out maybe?
There is. It's www.idpboston.org. And then at the conclusion of the 2-hour event, we're going to have a walk over to the nearby First Church in Cambridge, where they have a flag display for the people who have been victims of gun violence this year in the Boston area. And we're going to close there and thinking about what has happened to those people and what is happening in the community.
Thank you both very
And
much.
I wanted to give a shout out just to Be Our Guests, because they've been with us for many years. They provide tables and chairs and tablecloths and so forth, and we're just grateful to them.
A local firm. Thank you very much for being with us, Reverend Rodney Dailey and Ian Harrington. We'll have more news in just a moment.